Hey guys, Carlos Cortez here with another episode of Scriptures in Wall Street. I hope you're doing well. Last podcast we talked about divergence in the market and just kind of my take on what's actually going to happen in the markets. I want to continue to have that conversation, but more importantly, what I really want to disclose here is that we are in for some unique times, and these times are signs that you have to do something. You can't just stay there and buy and hold. And I was on a phone today with three different new callers, new clients. And what I will say is that uh, most advisors, not all advisors, but most advisors, what they're going to tell you during these times is to stay in it, to diversify between mutual funds, to diversify with different stocks. And maybe you sell some NVIDIA, maybe you buy some Amazon, maybe you buy some FedEx. Um, they are going to literally tell you to stay in the market and diversify between different stocks or bonds or ETFs. But regardless of what they say, most of them are going to diversify between stocks, bonds, and ETFs. This is a standard across the industry. It is not till up until now that most advisors are still recommending the red money bucket, the red money column. But we here at Cortez WM, we recommend safety. We recommend getting out of the stock market when it's necessary and getting in a safe account because the markets eventually will go down. And when they do, are you going to be victim of something that you could have fixed had you pick up the phone, had you had a conversation with us, had you just listened to what we could do in order to prevent a massive meltdown in your portfolio? Let me say my disclosure here. Everything on this podcast is for information education purposes only. I am a financial advisor. However, this is not investment advice. If you need investment advice, please seek financial help from a licensed financial practitioner, such as myself. You can give us a call at 813-448-3446 or visit us at cortezwm.com. Also, if you do book an appointment with us and you request it, I will send you a free copy of my America First Retirement Plan book. It is patented and copyrighted. I only have a few hundred left. So if you do want one, give us a call, run a few minutes and have a conversation with us. And no cost to you, will ship it to you. I'll even sign it. That's my commitment to you. I love just handing out information and teaching people because the message is bigger than me. The message is about keeping your money safe and getting a consistent rate of return and keeping the money transparent. Unfortunately, people don't have transparency in their funds or in their investments, and you don't even know how much you're being fed, let alone keeping the funds in America, not promoting DEI and pro CBDC, and also funding China and Ukraine and all these communist countries. Communism is a real thing, guys. It is a growing population, unfortunately, here in America, and we need to put an end to it. And most importantly, fiduciaries, do they believe in what you believe in? Is your advisor speaking the same language that you're speaking? Is he vaccinated? Does he believe? Does she believe in the protocols you have for yourself? Are they pro-Trump? Are they anti-Trump? These are some basic questions. And if you are not in alignment with, your advisor, chances are they're just going to continue to invest in red money things where you continue to lose. Speaking of which, I want to bring up charts here in a second, but I've said it day one, man. I said it earlier this year. They're going to pump up the stock market. They're going to pump up the stock market, and then the house of cards are going to fall. Well, those house of cards is coming very soon. And what I mean by that is we're hitting this upper echelon where mathematically and from a technical standpoint, we are due We are due for a correction. And this correction could be the likes of 40 to 50%. So if you're in the stock market, guys, again, for information purposes only, if you're in the stock market right now, are you prepared for a 40 to 50% correction? Conservatively, 25. Conservatively, definitely 25%. And I could show you why it could be 25. I could show you why it could be 50. But anywhere from 25 to 50% market correction. So if you got $1 million, you will essentially go down to 750, best case scenario, in my opinion, or anywhere to 500 or 600,000, somewhere in that range. You would lose half your money, close to half your money in a market swing. And there are a lot of variables. There's a lot of opinion out there. I'm not blaming the current administration. I'm not blaming that. I'm just blaming the catastrophic situation that we're in due to the Bidenomics, right? Due to personal savings rates is an atrocity. It's at 3%. The last time the Fed has lowered interest rates, about 70% of the time, I'm not the last time, the last 4 times, or the 4 times that the stock market did not go in a negative direction, 4 times the past 15 times. And out of that 4 times, we had a personal savings rate of 9%. So people had something to fall back on. Our personal savings rate right now is at 3.64 right now in 2024. People cannot save because of high inflation, which is no secret. But when we have a high inflation, we have a lower GDP. When we have the lower GDP, we have lower personal savings rate. You mix that in with the ultra high, uncontrollable debt, not just regular debt, but I'm talking about commercial real estate debt that we've never saw before. And to add more fuel to the concoction, the financial travesty, is we have unemployment. Unemployment is skyrocketing. There are these people are lying on our jobs reports. They're amending the reports after the fact. And we all know that the media is bought out. I mean, I'm talking to some smart people here. You guys know this. So unemployment rate is high. Savings rates are low. People are cashing in prematurely their 401ks. Credit card debt is high. Foreclosures are on the rise. By the way, mortgage rates have already dropped daggone near 1%. They were 7.4, 7.6. They went down to 7.1. Now they're 6.8. Where are all the buyers? I'll give you a hint. They're not budging because the banks aren't lending. They want 25%. Who has 25% on a gassed up home price that no one can afford? They've been priced out. Now, my state here in Florida, in Tampa alone, inventory is up 69%. In Florida alone, people are leaving our state by the droves, dog. Like they are just straight up leaving. Everybody on fixed income is leaving. They're going to North Carolina. They're going to St. Louis. They're going out Midwest. They're going to rural areas that don't require $500,000 for a 3.2 square foot or a 3.2 block square home. It's nonsense, man. I don't even have to pull up the charts. This is me fundamentally speaking. This is what most advisors will talk about fundamentally. And if they're not talking that way, then you need to find a new one because fundamentals, you guys know, I know, and I'm not trying to put my bias out there. I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like Kamala Harris. I don't like the left. I don't like these communists. And so we think the dollar is going to crash. We think America is going to go belly up. But what has happened? Has the dollar really crashed? Has America crashed? Not yet. It's headed that way. But remember when Joe Biden got in, we said the dollar was going to crash and this is going to happen. And we need to buy gold and silver and all these things. But gold is nothing but red money. Gold is manipulated. Gold is gold IRAs are one of the worst things you can buy, in my opinion. So you need to understand that we have to diversify from red money into green money, into safer products. So I'm not a big fan of gold and silver. Mainly is not the asset. It is the dealers that I have a problem with. Recently, I've been talking about CortezWealthGold.com, which is Genesis, but I really want to make it clear that I am still a big fan of Cornerstone. Cornerstone has been there through thick and thin. They paid me hundreds of thousands of dollars to just say their name. Many of my clients have bought with them, sold with them. Great outfit. We love Terry over there and his crew. Good Christian-based company, and so is Genesis. But I want to talk about Cornerstone because I felt like I've kicked them to the curb, which that was not my aim. It is my opinion that they have stayed true to their word. And if you need precious metals, please buy it through a reputable dealer that loves a cross, that loves dealing with people, that loves dealing with God-fearing patriots, and that are not going to bamboozle you and lie to you and do all these nasty things these bigger gold precious metals dealers do. All you got to do is call Cornerstone, 888-747-3309. You can ask for Terry, let him know that Carlos Cortez sent you from Scriptures on Wall Street. And we want to make sure that you're taken care of. Again, I only would recommend 20 to 30%. Gold is still going up. Silver is still going up. So buy with caution. Buy with caution. I only have my precious metals for emergency purposes only. If it goes up, great. If it doesn't go up or it goes down, I'm okay with that too. It is just for me to bug out, have a bug out bag. God forbid something happens to me and my family, we can just put it in a bug out bag and head for the hills. What I want to talk about today is I want to just give you an updates on the markets, and everybody's confused and they don't know what to do. And I don't want to be that guy that is like cocky and laughing straight to the bank. I'm really ready to short the market here shortly. So if you pay attention, I'm going to give you some information on how to actually capitalize on this next market crash. You guys know it's coming. But unfortunately, most financial advisors are not traders. Well, I am a trader and I am a financial advisor. This is not trading advice. This is not financial advice. I just want to let you know what I'm looking at versus what you're hearing in the woke media, hearing from your incompetent advisor that doesn't trade because their bank doesn't allow them to trade or even talk about trades. It is terrible having a Series 7 license. Like you cannot even do what's in the best interest for your clients. Many times it's terrible. It's terrible. I had to let that license go. They wouldn't even let me have a podcast here. So it's ridiculous. Anyways, so shall we? Let's do it, Mike. All right. Let's pull up the charts. Oh, before I pull up the charts, what do you guys think about this? There she is. Your favorite person in the world. She wants this new tax exemption. This is nuts, man.
Know about the small business impact of these policy proposals here. For sure, yeah. Picking up on the Goldman Sachs note, this is a spending proposal from Kamala Harris that she's going to formally unveil this afternoon. The headline here, it's all about small business, is what she's trying to focus on this week. And the headline here is a tenfold expansion of tax credits for small business. Currently, if you're starting a small business, to help you with startup costs, you can get up to about $5,000. She wants to make it $50,000. So it's a big expansion there. And this is part of an overall goal of spurring 25 million new small business applications, she says, if she wins, that she hopes to have over her first term. So this would be a big focus on small business there. And then there's a bunch of other ideas in there about red tape, occupational licenses, standard deductions for small business, a little bit more wonky, but a kind of overall plan here for small businesses. And this is part of her opportunity economy, which she's been laying out in stages. A couple of weeks ago, it was a cost of living plan, housing, grocery stores. This week is small business. And then we're expected to see more in the weeks ahead.
Juxtapose this against what we've heard from the GOP and candidate former President Trump as well, who's kind of more focusing in on where the corporate side could get certain cuts. You know, how is this really starting to shape out where both candidates are going to prioritize and win voters?
Yeah, well, what's interesting to me about the dynamic here is this seems to be a kind of a fight both sides want to have. Harris has a new ad out this week that highlights Trump's desire to lower the corporate tax rate. It's 21% now, the federal rate is. He wants to make it between 15 or 20%. Harris has talked about raising it. So they're happy to talk about that and then contrast it with these small business ideas they're saying. They're sort of setting that up as a dynamic here. And as you mentioned, Trump is focused there as well, sort of saying more broadly that Harris doesn't understand small business and that Trump's economic record proves he'd be better in the overall, but without these kind of policy proposals.
All right, Ben Worshgold, thanks so much as always for joining us and giving us your reporting there. Really appreciate it. And Brad, such a great question from you just in terms of the potential impact here. It's going to be fascinating to see how this shakes up as we do head towards that upcoming debate between Harris and Trump here.
Yeah, a bunch of topics that have really played out over the course of today's show that are going to be on those debate stages, however many those are. And of course, we'll hopefully get some more timing and clarity around that, whether it be small business focused initiatives, whether it be household focused initiatives for parents, and then additionally for homeowners as well here. We've heard all of this be discussed, I think more largely on how this could impact some of the publicly traded companies that we've been talking about.
So they go on to talk about this nonsense about how she is going to implement this new tax strategy. Guys, this is not going to work. And this is what's being told and spieled. But we all know that this is all a bunch of bag of lies. She's just trying to win votes. She's trying to look like Trump and speaking to the American entrepreneur of, hey, you can start a business and we'll give you $50,000 to do so. People are going to believe that. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to work. The only way they could win, honestly, is still an election again. That's the only way they could win. Because everywhere I go, and maybe I'm ethnocentrical here, maybe because I'm in the South, I'm in Florida, and this is all Trump country, all the way up to the west of Mississippi, to all the way up to the Mason-Dixon line in Virginia. We're all Trump country down here. Let me know in the comments if you're in Trump country. I have no idea where you're listening from, but let me know in the comments what state you're in, if your Trump is red or blue, or if your state is red or blue. I don't see her winning that debate. I don't see her literally having a pot to piss in, dude. Like, how are you going to impose unrealized taxation on capital gains? Had a client that has more than 800,000, but one account cost basis was 400,000, and their current value on that account is 800 grand. So they would have to pay 400 taxation on $400,000 long-term capital gains, over 20% in the Kamala plan, not 15% long-term capital gains. So she wants to increase long-term capital gains. She wants to increase the taxation on unrealized gains, which is not even fair. That's just ridiculous. And all that's going to do is push people to IRAs and 401ks and tax-deferred accounts, which is going to feed the government even more, because TDA accounts, tax-deferred accounts, are basically the government's money because they control the taxation on it. So she ain't stupid. Even though she acts stupid, her puppet masters aren't stupid. Yeah. So I want to make sure you guys are aware of that is not a good plan, regardless of the scenario. But let's go ahead and talk about the manipulation, shall we? So, as I had pointed out last podcast, this is the S&P 500. This is the S&P 500 here, guys. And what I wanted to disclose here is that you see this trend. See this trend that's going up, and boom, we have this divergence. So this trend is actually still kind of going up here. This is going up. And then we have this divergence here. 90% of the time, guys, that means a divergence is going to initiate a crash. Whenever we have a divergence, this RSI isolator, when it's going the opposite direction that the actual market is going, we will see a correction. In 2020, this is what we saw. We saw a divergence before COVID. We saw a divergence in 2001. We saw a divergence in 2008. We saw a divergence in 2022. Now we're seeing a divergence in 2024. It's election year. Personal savings is all jacked up. Unemployment is rising. The Fed is lowering interest rates on the 15th of this month. Guys, wake the freak up, dude. It is time to sell your stupid NVIDIA stock. It is time to get rid of the stocks that you have, because it's coming down, dog. Like, what else do you need to know? What else do you need to know? So this is the S&P 500, the SPY ETF. Let me pull up something real quick. Oh, man, this looks good right here. This is XPXS. This is how you make money when the stock market goes down. Look at this. My little guy here, the divergence here is up, and this market's going up, or this index is going up. I'm going to pull this up in another chart, but it hit this high at around 950. Right now it's at 761. We might get a little pop. That means the S&P is going down. If we get this pop here, that means the S&P is going down. But what you need to understand, guys, is that if you're trying to make money with the stock market going down, I would look at SPXS is 3 times the amount. So if the S&P 500 goes down 10%, this will go up 30%. If the S&P 500 goes down 30%, this will go up 90%. So it is 3 times the risk. If the S&P goes up, this will go down 3 times. All right. So you got to be very, very cautious. Now, if you don't like the 3 times leverage, this is SSO. SSO basically is a leverage ETF as well. So, but my favorite one, guys, right now, as you guys know, is TMF. This is the yield curve. The yield curve is looking pretty juicy right now. We know interest rates are going to go down this month. I get a golden cross here, guys. That means this is going to go up. The moving average, the 50 crossover 200-day moving average, we should see an increase in pricing. And we're starting to see that now. The divergence is going up. The momentum's going up, not divergence, sorry. The momentum's going up. So we're starting to see that. So should be a really good trade if you've been following us past 6 months, because I've been saying this is going to be a very, very cool trade. You could buy the call options on this. Personally, I bought the call options. Let's see here. January 2026 for pretty cheap. I mean, we can go way back on this one. If I can get off the pencil here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this thing has been insane on how this was back in. Let me shrink this down. This was over back in 20. There it is. Oof. 578. Yeah. This stock was at 583. Right now it's at 50. It's at daggone $60 right now. So it got a little pop. TMF, huge potential upside as soon as they lower interest rates. This is how you make money in a stock market that's rigged. Again, this is for someone that wants to take risk. I like talking about stock tips because I'm actually trading these personally. I'm not doing this for clients. I'm not using this for clients' assets. But what I'm telling you right now is that these are risky trades, but this is one of the smarter risky trades. And, since I deal as a fiduciary, I want to make sure that I'm not trading clients' accounts that are risky. We want to be conservative, but you can take the trades. You can do it. This is for information purposes only, but I really, really like this setup. I think it's going to do phenomenal. And all right, let me see here. What else we got? So TMF is looking good. So another cool stock that will do pretty well in the times of a crashing market is TZA. As you see here, this was up close to $40 daggone dollars. It's down to 15. And once this starts to pop up, that means the Russell 2000 has crashed. So this, you guys see, this is all-time low. Another all-time low. It was 1361 earlier. Is that 1361 on August? Popped up to about 1650. And as you guys guessed it, the all-time high on this bad boy. Oof. Look at this thing. I think it was in the hundreds. It's been a while since I traded this one. Oh my goodness. During COVID, but pre-COVID, this thing was over 1,500. Look at this thing. Just kept on going up, man. Yeah, this thing was over 3,000. I mean, this thing is just nuts. This is a very risky trade, by the way. Not for the faint of heart, not for retirement accounts, but if you have money to spare, TZA would be a great triple leveraged ETF that will do extremely well in the time of a situation where there's a market panic. Going on to VIXI. This is the most important one. Actually, I'm going to look at VIX and then we're going to go to VIXI. So you guys know the volatility index has been increasing. We know that the volatility index has been increasing. So right now we're at 21. I got my golden crosses here. Let me see if I can spread this out a little better. I'm sorry, there's a lot of noise here. Let me spread it out. There we go. That looks a lot easier. Okay. So it's been flat for years, for months, for a whole year now. And we get these little spikes. These spikes mean the market's going down pretty much. This is a fear and greed index. So we got a huge spike early August. You guys remember it went to 65 from like 14. It was at 13. I remember I was recording and at 14 it shot up to 60 the next day. You guys remember that? So right now we're at 21.33. When that September 15th bell comes in and homie says we're going to lower interest rates by 50 basis points, you better be looking at the volatility index. You can't buy the VIX. It's not a security you can trade, but what you can buy is the VIXy. So if the stock market's collapsing, everyone's in the hell panic mode. You simply go to VIXy and you can make money, potentially, if this thing goes up. Now, my momentum, my chart says, hey, this is near an all-time low. I got a blue cross basically signaling that there's bullish power. This is a bullish signal. I have my momentum coming off the bottom, springing up. We had the same type of setup right before, see these long candles right before it skyrocketed here? We have another spring, and it could double top here and then come right back down. It could just spring up all the way past its ultra high that we've had. And this would put us right at that. September 15th-ish. Lower interest rates. You lower interest rates, the yield curve inverts. People get scared. Banks don't know what to do. They're writing off all these toxic assets they have on the books from commercial real estate. That sends a market to a whole nother realm, a whole nother threshold, another psych level, so to speak. And it will send the markets crashing, which is going to send the VIXy through the roof. So to defend your portfolio, if you're not a client of mine and you're just trading, I would totally look at VIXy. Maybe buy VIXy alone. If you want to be safe, you can just buy the ETF. Know that this is a risky investment. I mean, only invest money that you can afford to lose. But this should be a hedge where instead of buying gold or silver, which is also manipulated, one thing that you and I can agree, doesn't matter if you're left wing, right wing, atheist, Democrat, rattlesnake Pentecostal, Mormon, one thing we all can agree is that there's going to be some volatility. And if you believe that, then this might be a good investment for you. Just might. So the VIXy is really, really cool. XPS, one of my favorites. TMF is the gangster trade of the year. What else do I want to look at that I wanted to share with you? I haven't talked about Bitcoin in a while. Bitcoin's kind of been boring. It's been at this level of like 53 to 65-ish, 68. So it's been in this trading range for a while. Nothing too spectacular. Let me switch over to my momentum indicator here. For those of you that are in Bitcoin, let's take a look at that. It looks like we're starting to see a downward spiral on Bitcoin. For those of you that are in the crypto space, very resemblance of 2022 with Bitcoin. Shot back up. It could reach to a $25,000 level again. So if you have Bitcoin, it might be a good time to just sell, because this is a very volatile asset. It could go down 50, 60%. It is correlated to the tech industry with NVIDIA and the Magnificent Seven, Tesla. For those of you that have Tesla, I'll look at Tesla real quick. Yeah, so Tesla is about to get a pop right here. They're having a good growth spring. As awkward as that sounds, because I had a sell signal and then I get a buy signal. So Tesla is about to take off again. Has been beat all to death from, jeez, look at this thing, 378 all the way down to 152. I said it was going to go to 140. You guys remember that? I was off. It went to 152. But I was saying that I was going to go to 140 all the way when it was at 200. It was at 304, and I said it was going to go to 140. And I was wrong. It went to 120. Shot back up to 273. And then I said it was going to go to 140. And I was wrong again. It went to 133. So trust me when I'm telling you, man, like when I get my signals and I see the patterns, I mean, I can't use the word guarantee. I have to say risk all the time. And past performance is not indicative of future results. But when I get this green box, it usually is a long, elongated bull run here. So be cautious. If you're shorting Tesla, now is not the time to short Tesla. KRE was a big stock earlier this year that I was keeping an eye on, but we got a bull signal here. They are pumping up those banks, man. The banks are looking good from a manipulation standpoint. They're pumping it up. Let's take a look at gold for our gold fans. Still going up. One thing that's scary about gold is you see this massive rush. It could go, obviously it's at 2,500 now. It could go to 3,000. It could go to 5,000. It could go high, man. But this thing, as soon as it quits, it is going to tank back down, possibly to the 1,700 range. So be very careful with gold getting in at this point. I think there's still potential upside here. But whenever I see this massive momentum, look at this red area. And when interest rates falling, I think the markets are going to just go ham. Gold will be manipulated as well. Not a big fan of buying gold at this price right now. S&P, we spoke about the S&P 500. This is what I wanted to say real quick. So you see this little V here. We had an alter high at 56.43. We're getting close to that high point of 56. We're at 5,600. It was just about 56.43. We'll get a little bump in the S&P 500. We're going to hit this top. I think with a combination of having a September to remember, this is going to go down. We are in a 23-month bull cycle. This is going to be our 23rd month. The bull cycles usually last for 23 months. If you look back in the history, 24 months ago, the S&P was at 37.08. We are at 23 months at 55.30. Usually, the last bull run was daggone, holy smokes, look at this, was in 2020. In 2020, it lasted at 2022, boom, 30% drop. The last one, 2018, boom, another 30% drop. 2016, we got a little correction here, about a 15% drop. But every 22 months, there's always a drop. And we're right there, guys. We're right there at that kill zone. So be on the lookout, man, for it's just time to protect yourself. I can talk about my fundamental bias, but when it comes to trading and looking at charts, I have to quantify it. And as I look at this, we are in a situation where the markets will correct itself. The bulls will continue to die down very, very quickly. My question to you is, what are you doing right now to protect yourself? We have accounts that can grow with the S&P 500, sometimes even better that have a rotator index that can go to commodities, treasuries, S&P, and NASDAQ, not quarterly, not monthly, but daily. And right now, with interest rates lowering, I can't offer this for a long time, but right now they're still offering a 20% sign-on bonus within a guaranteed environment, insurance-based product. That's why it's guaranteed. It's out of the stock market, out of the woke agenda, anti-CBDC, anti-DEI, anti-communism, private insured account. We can get a 20% bonus for a 0.95 annual fee. The only bad part is you only have access to 10% a year, but typically your money is going to double within 4 to 6 years on average, because it's going to average about 7 to 14% a year, depending on the index on the growth. Past performances is not indicative of future results, but it doesn't matter because you have principal protection. You don't have principal protection right now if you're just stuck in the stock market, hoping and praying that Donald Trump is going to win the election. Well, even if he does win the election, you're still going to see a market correction. You do know that, right? You're still going to see a massive market correction. So let's be smart, let's be proactive, and let's have a conversation on how we can protect your retirement, because moving forward, you're going to need safety and growth. You're going to need principal protection. You're going to need green money in your portfolio. I can talk to you about the trades till the cows come home, dog. But if you're not doing anything about it, it's useless knowledge. You're wasting your time listening to this podcast. You're wasting your time even looking at your retirement, and you're wasting your time trying to plan for retirement. I hope I'm tracking here, man. I really am. I have heard your prayer. I have seen your tears. Look, I will heal you. 2 Kings 25. Sometimes when we hurt, we feel as though God isn't near, but he is. We just need reminding of his compassion and faithfulness to heal our wounds and lift our despair. A husband can be a great comfort to his wife during these times, but only to a certain degree. Ultimately, God is a final place of true healing and mending. So when you're done, all you can do to help, let God be your and your wife's strength. He sees her tears and he hears your prayers on her behalf. I wanted to share that for those of you that are interested in this book. It's called Daily Prayers for Wife. One of my weakest pillars wasn't financial, wasn't my fitness, wasn't my family, it was my marriage. And so one of the things I've struggled with is my marriage and just being a better husband to my wife. And so I've committed to reading this book. I've committed to getting help. I've committed to keeping her first. I don't know if that speaks to you, men, but we do have a masculinity problem in America. And one of the things about masculinity is that being vulnerable, like vulnerable men is masculine. We've been bastardized all over TV and the radio to be weak and not to cry and wear a purse and do your nails. And it's okay to be passive. It's okay to be fat. It's okay to be a bum. It's okay for the women to do everything. But what women desire is a true man that is bold, that is a shining knight armor, that is a man of his word, that is present with the kids, that is present as a provider, that is truthful. And I want to be that man for my wife. I hope you want to be that man for your lady as well. It's my prayer that you guys grow, not just financially, but also spiritually as well. Anyways, it's my prayer that we get stronger. I don't want you to have to fear about this. The market stuff is easy to me. All you gotta do is let me help you. Let's get your retirement in order. Our days are numbered. And if you don't have God in your life, it's very, very numbered. The markets are rigged, guys. I mean, the markets are rigged. Gold, silver, it's all rigged. The banking system is already tokenized. They have your money locked in CBDC systems. It is a switch that they can just turn on. And there is no BSing. So what I recommend is you play your part. You're going to have a checking account. And eventually, if Harris gets in, there will be a social credit score. Doesn't matter who wins. It doesn't matter who gets instilled. It's not even who wins. It's who gets installed. We're going to make money. We're going to make money off of this rigged economy. So continue to listen to this podcast. Continue to be faithful, like how I'm faithful on bringing you this content. I'm not going anywhere. I've been doing this for a very long time. I'm not stopping. And I appreciate that comment the other day. He said I was the only Latino on Wall Street that fears a cross. And you're right. Been called a spick Jew on my own channel. I've been called a spick everywhere. I was told that I would never be able to understand money or even be a financial advisor because I was a Puerto Rican kid and I didn't know anything. I needed to shave and change my name and all this other stuff, blah, 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 blah. I could have played the victim card. I could have played LLM, Latino Lives Matter. I could have went that route, but I didn't. I took responsibility, made a change, and decided that I wanted control. I wanted peace. I wanted sound mind. And I wanted victory and glory and give it to God. And that's what He has given us. So that is my prayer for you guys is to be successful and don't get too caught up in this presidential election. I know it's very emotional, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who gets in because we're going to make moves regardless. Going to make moves regardless. I just need volatility. If there's volatility, listen up because there will be some financial hostility and we can make a ton of profitability. You know what I mean? So anyways, guys, I'm out of here. I'll talk too much. It's only a Thursday. I can't wait for our weekend podcast. I'll get more into depth on, I'm going to do some research on some other stocks and some other cool things on market scenarios. So with that being said, stay tuned. Don't forget to visit my website, cortezwm.com. If you haven't booked your appointment, we are open. We are only about a week behind with our appointments, a week waiting list. So a week out. We were 3 months, but things slowed down a little bit. Thank God. I needed a breather after summer. But with that being said, we're here to help you out. CortezWM.com. And don't forget to call Cornerstone for your precious metal needs. Again, that number is 888-747-3309. You can download a free guide at AmericaFirstRetirementPlan.com. Again, AmericaFirstRetirementPlan.com. If you want a free guide about a color of money, how our process, if you just want to check us out. And don't forget to like and subscribe our Rumble channel, Scriptures in Wall Street. If you do book an appointment with us, just remind me, hey, Carlos, can I get one of your books? Absolutely. If I have it, I'll give it to you. They're about $20 or about $20 each. I'll just give it to you, man. So you want to make a donation to Scriptures in Wall Street. This stuff is expensive. It's not cheap. So keep us in your prayers. Keep my family in your prayers and my business. We've personally been a little attacked here, and we're fighting back. But yeah, if you would like to make a donation, I'd highly appreciate it. We got some really cool things that we want to do for the network, for our show, and to keep us running. Everything I do is self-sponsor because I don't trust many people throwing money at me because then they want to change my message. And this is just me being authentic. It's my platform. I sponsor my own show because I don't want anyone else's aim to be the show's aim. The aim of this show is to bring you the truth, bring you options, let you know what's going on in the marketplace, and just tell you what's ever on my heart. 2 times a week, maybe daily. I don't know. Maybe I go once a week. I have no idea. Whatever God wants. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Peace out.